In a grim opening scene, Serbian influencer Nikolina Kostov films herself in a dark forest. She utters her last words before getting brutally attacked by someone and falling lifeless on the ground, every second of her demise captured on video. As news of her murder is broadcast on mainstream and social media, many begin to speculate and come up with wild theories. Some even say that it wasn't a murder, but the work of a monster related to a Slavic myth. People are yet to find out who, or what, ended Nikolina's life. In the next scene, a couple arrives at the entrance of a forest near an abandoned mine. Before they step out of the car, they get into a small argument regarding the planned activities. Elin expresses how she feels uneasy about Dimon filming a vlog with his ex during their planned glamping session. To ease her concern, Dimon explains how he and Josie have moved on from each other. However, since their followers think they are still together, they need to film a blog together and break up for content. Besides, Josie's new boyfriend is there with them, Jens. Dimon steps out of the car to greet the other influencers. Josie starts filming a video explaining what they are going to do for the next few days, and Dimon hugs her from behind, pretending like they're still together. After that, the group heads into the forest. It takes them a few minutes to reach their destination. Once there, the group meets an elderly couple, who are the ones who paid for the so-called viral marketing campaign. They've turned their place into a luxury glamping site and want more visitors. The old man, Ulf, shows the group around. First, he talks about the satellite dish that allows the place to have an internet connection. Ulf then takes the group via boat to the island in the middle of the lake. That's where the glamping will take place. He tells the influencers to showcase how beautiful the place is. However, Josie isn't interested in just that. She wants a good story tied to the place. Although hesitant, Ulf agrees to be filmed talking about a certain Marit. According to a local myth, Marit is a woman who was accused of witchcraft and drowned in that very lake. The legends say she eats flesh with the devil and pulls people down underwater. Josie is elated to hear a story that she believes her viewers will eat up. The others laugh at the story, and Dimon even shouts at the lake, provoking Marit to come out and show herself. Surely nothing bad will happen because of this joke, right? After Ulf drops them off at the island, Ulf hands Elin a walkie-talkie and tells them it's their main way of contacting him, since there is no cell reception there. The old man then leaves, promising to pick them up the next day at lunch. Josie wastes no time and films all the spots on the site, from the outdoor shower to the bedroom tent near the water. Again, she jokes about Marit, saying they won't be eaten as long as they stay on land. Later, Elin tries to be courteous and get to know Josie, but the influencer is being very snobbish. Still, Elin continues making small talk, yet all she gets back are backhanded compliments. When she mentions being a psychiatrist, Josie jokes that it must be why she met Dimon, implying he's not right in the head. Moments later, the influencers do what Ulf explicitly told them not to do, which is to swim in the lake. Elin is the only one hesitant to dive in, fearing that she might break her neck on a random rock underwater. She also watches as her boyfriend frolics in the water with his ex. Despite what they say, it sure looks like the two exes still have some sort of spark. Josie's boyfriend, Jens, sits down beside Elin while he pilots a drone hovering over the lake. Jens is a bassist and met Josie at one of his gigs. Now he works as her manager. He hands her the drone controller so she can try piloting it for a second. This is when she spots something odd underwater through the drone's camera, something that's hard to make out. Jens dismisses it as the drone's reflection. After everyone gets out of the water, Elin brings up how she's uncomfortable with what Dimon and Josie are doing. The boyfriend once again reminds her, or rather, gaslights her into believing nothing is going on between him and his ex. Dimon urges her to trust him. Later, while Jens is cooking some burgers, Elin brings out her vegan patty to put on the grill. Kirsten gives her unwanted opinion regarding how she thinks veganism is stupid. Jens, on the other hand, understands and appreciates Elin's beliefs. Dimon notices the way Jens and Elin's are getting along. Looks like he's getting a taste of his own medicine. During their meal, Josie continues filming for her vlog. Dimon makes another joke about how he'll throw Josie to Merit if the viewers don't subscribe. She tells everyone to eat fast because she wants to film everyone swimming. Jens suggests slowing down, or what's going to get them in the water is cramps, not witches. A while later, Jens helps Dimon film a short video for his vlog. In the conversation that follows, Dimon asks when he'll make his relationship with Josie public. The musician insists he prefers being behind the scenes, but Dimon points out that it would be good for his career if people found he's dating Josie. In a different part of the island, Ava is opening up to Ellen about how Josie can be hard to handle sometimes. She also adds how she's learned to adapt because she believes people don't really change. While filming Dimon doing pull-ups, Jens notices something strange. Dimon is bleeding from his hands. When he gets down, the others arrive, concerned for him. However, Josie thinks it's a prank and asks who set it up. She storms off, declaring how she doesn't think those kinds of pranks are funny. Even after Dimon washes his hands, Josie comes back and insists that someone confess to the prank. To calm her down, Jens admits to it, even if it wasn't a prank in the first place. While all of this is happening, Kirsten falls into the water. Naturally, the others, except Josie and Aylin, jump into the water to save her. However, this turns out to be a prank because she emerges and climbs back up the dock shortly after. The series of events that follow are no longer pranks. Dimon repeatedly keeps getting dragged underwater, and he even accuses Jens of doing this, but he's too far from Dimon to pull with such force. The two men climb back up, but Ava is left in the water, struggling. Every time she gets near the dock, something pulls her away. After several attempts, she finally grabs Jens's hand, and they pull her back to safety. But one of her ankles is severely wounded, as if something slashed it. They quickly bring Ava back to the tent, and Aylin is quick to do first aid. She barks orders at everyone, telling them what she needs so she can stop Ava from bleeding out. However, most of the influencers are useless when it comes to emergencies, which isn't surprising to be honest. Josie doesn't even know how to use a walkie-talkie. For some reason, Aylin knows that Kirsten has been taking oxycodone, so she gets her to admit where the meds are. Aylin needs to administer them to Ava to ease her pain. Meanwhile, the panicking Josie finally gets in contact with Ulf, who reassures her that he will be coming to get them soon. Later, when Ulf shows up, his boat suddenly stops several meters away from the group. When he tries to use a paddle, he gets pulled into the water. Now the group has to watch an old man struggle to survive. Their only way out of the island is to fight for his life. Eventually, he succumbs, unable to climb back up the boat. Stunned, everyone stands in silence, not knowing what to do next. Fast forward to the evening. While everyone is inside the tent trying to figure out what to do next, their sources of light suddenly go out. The thunder and rain from outside make the situation scarier than it already is. Then, all of a sudden, a silhouette of what seems to be a swamp hag can be seen through the tent's thin lining. This creature must be Marit the witch. Low growls and the sound of cracking branches can be heard as it moves around the tent. Aylin makes a brave yet stupid decision. She steps outside to confront the witch. However, she sees no one outside. When the witch's silhouette appears from the back of the tent, Aylin once again steps outside and runs to the outdoor dining table, grabbing a knife. She's ready to fight Marit. The witch teleports to several areas around Aylin, but never attacks, and quickly disappears before Aylin can see her. Our protagonist can't help but let out a battle cry, asking the witch why she's being hostile. After a while, Aylin has no choice but to return to the tent. The group is confused as to why Marit was able to walk on land, even when the legend says she can only move underwater. The answer is simple. It's the rain that's allowing Marit to move more freely. And so, the group decides to stay in the tent until the rain stops. While waiting, Jens asks Josie to film a little, just so they have evidence of what happened. Just when the group thinks they're safe, Marit comes back and starts ripping apart the roof of the tent, allowing the rain to seep in. The group starts panicking. Their next best hiding spot is the nearby sauna. Josie, being selfish as always, runs off on her own, wanting to save her own skin. The rest of the group gets out as well, carrying the injured Ava with them. Kirsten trips and falls over, spraining her ankle. She tells the group to continue, but she doesn't realize that she won't be able to get up that easily. Unfortunately, Marit catches up to her. The rest of the group makes it back to the sauna. When Aylin realizes Kirsten is still out there, she tries to go out, but Jens stops her from leaving. Kirsten still manages to make it to the window, but Marit quickly snatches her away. Aylin is determined to go out and fight the witch, but the men hold her in place. Jen slowly takes the knife away from her to make sure she doesn't do anything reckless again. Naturally, Aylin is pissed that the group decided to let Kirsten be taken away, even when they could have saved her. The next day, the rain finally stops, and the group inspects the aftermath of last night's carnage. Ava is having convulsions. If she doesn't get treated soon, she'll perish. And so, the group discusses possible options for escape. They need to get the abandoned boat, but the only option to get it is to swim there. Josie suggests sacrificing Ava to Marie so they can grab the boat while the witch is distracted. Naturally, Aylin thinks Josie is insane for suggesting such a cruel plan. Tired of the influencer's attitude, Aylin steps away from the group to be alone for a while. While Aylin is away, Josie and Dimon actually go ahead and put Ava in a floaty, ready to send her to her demise. Josie pushes the unconscious woman into the lake, while Dimon prepares to swim towards the boat. Aylin rushes into the scene, attempting to stop what's happening. However, Josie punches her and pins her to the ground. Ava wakes up because of the commotion and tries her best to paddle with her hands back to the shore. In a desperate attempt to salvage the situation, Aylin blurts out that she will be the one to swim instead. Finally, Josie lets go, and Ava is ushered back safely with the help of Jens. Dimon is still waiting for the signal at the dock when Aylin approaches him. She declares that once they get off the island, she never wants to see him again. It's a reasonable reaction given how he agreed to Josie's evil plan. Sometime later, Aylin and Jens go through the process of amputating the lower part of Ava's leg. This is the only way for her to survive. It's a stressful process, and the two people who almost murdered Ava sit nearby, consumed by their guilt. The next scene shows another purpose of the severed ankle. It's attached to the drone and flown out far in the lake, serving as bait for Marit. Meanwhile, Elin stands on the dock with Dimon, preparing to swim towards the boat. Once the witch gets hold of the leg, Josie signals for Elin to go ahead and swim. But instead of her, Dimon takes the plunge, trying his best to swim, even with clothes slowing him down. As expected, the witch quickly swims towards him, the ankle only providing a momentary distraction. Fortunately, Dimon manages to reach the boat before Marit catches up to him. He then safely paddles the boat back to the dock, at the same time explaining that he did it because he's a faster swimmer than Elin. While the men get Ava in the boat, Josie continues filming on her phone, talking about the legend of the witch. Of course, this pisses Elin off, so she grabs the influencer's phone, screaming at her to get on the boat. Seconds later, Elin calms down and hands Josie back her mobile device. Everyone gets seated on the boat, and for a while, Dimon peacefully paddles towards safety. But of course, escaping won't be this easy. Just as they're nearing land, Marit grabs the paddle and pulls it underwater, leaving the group with nothing to use to get a boat moving. With no options left, Jens uses his left hand to paddle, which is the riskiest thing he can do at the moment. Dimon points out that it's going to rain soon, which means they're as good as witch food anyway. Everyone starts playing Russian roulette with their hands as the four desperately paddle, taking a gamble on who Marit will pull down first. The unlucky winner is Josie. Marit takes hold of her, but the others grab onto her, preventing her from being dragged down. But this is just a distraction. Marit's real target is the unconscious Ava. When Josie is finally freed from the witch's grasp, Ava is already being pulled underwater. Elin recklessly jumps into the water, and the rest of the group follows after. They search the water, and also scream Ava's name, as if she can actually respond to them. Oddly enough, the witch does nothing even when all her targets are in her territory. Josie ends up rescuing Ava, and the rest of the group manages to get on dry land. Only Jens remains standing, with half his body still submerged in the water. It turns out he's waiting for Marit to appear so he can sacrifice himself. The group trudges along, while heavy rain is pouring. Dimon and Josie decide it's better to head inside the host's home until the rain stops. It's a reasonable decision, but Elin thinks they should just get out as soon as possible, not believe that the witch is empowered when it's raining. She literally saw the witch emerge from the water, and she still doesn't believe Marit is real. Josie insists they need to reset the router so they can connect to the internet and ask for help. The problem is that it's located in a separate shed outside. Elin steps out to do this task because she's the one who is convinced Marit can't get her. While trying to look for a pin to insert into the router, Elin discovers Kirsten's deceased body. However, she has no time to be scared. Elin immediately goes back to the router, attempting to reset it. Back at the main house, Josie is recording a video of the lake when they spot Marit emerging from the water, heading towards the shed. Dimon tries his best to scream in Elin's direction, warning her about the danger she is in. She finally gets the router to work, but Marit appears behind her. A battle ensues between the two. Elin's plot armor kicks in, allowing her to survive the counter. She even manages to bury an axe into the witch's shoulder, and then trap it inside the shed. Afterward, she returns to the main house. Elin tells the other two of what just transpired. She believes she had murdered a human, not a witch. But the problem is, Marit is still alive. The internet suddenly gets cut off again, and the witch enters the house, slowly looking around. Right now, hiding is the priority for the three survivors. Of course, Ava starts convulsing at an important moment like this. When Marit finally spots Elin, Dimon appears from the side and tackles the witch. He manages to overpower Marit. Once the witch is subdued, he removes the Iron Maiden mask and reveals who Marit really is. It's the old man Ulf. Josie hands him the axe, suggesting that he end the old man's life. But before he can do so, a bullet pierces Dimon's stomach. Ulf's wife, Ragnhild, appears holding a shotgun. She screams at the ladies to sit down. She orders her husband to take the women down into the basement. Down in the basement, while the girls are tied up, the two elderly murderers reveal their motivation. Turns out, a mining company is threatening to destroy their place and bankrupt them. The plan was to let Josie be the only survivor, so she could tell people about what happened. This would hopefully attract more tourists. But now that plan is ruined. With no use for Josie anymore, Ragnhild ends the influencer's life, stabbing her in the stomach. While all of this is happening, Ava is crawling towards the shotgun. The couple talks about how their new plan is to leave no survivors. They will just let the people discover the video footage of the murders. But this plan won't be happening anymore because Ava fires a shot at Ragnhild, sending her to the ground. Then, Ava uses what's left of her strength to shoot Ulf as well. Ava crawls towards Elin to help her get out of her bindings. Unfortunately, she falls unconscious. The worst part of this is that Ragnhild is somehow still alive and is now standing up to strike Elin. Of course, plot armor kicks in again. Ava suddenly regains consciousness and fires a barrage of shots towards the old woman, this time making sure she is no longer breathing. By the time the two women get out of the basement, it's already daytime. They manage to walk back to their car. But before Elin can drive, Jens shows up. Now we know why he waited for the witch to take him. He was in on the plan, too. He's actually the son of the elderly couple. Elin managed to calm Jens down before he could make any move, hoping he would be reasoned with. He lets go of the knife, but seconds later, bloodlust overtakes him. But this time, Elin is quick to grab the knife and jabs it into Jens's chin. The movie ends with Elin driving away with Ava.